What is up, everyone? I'm coming on here for a couple of plays for today. Now, yesterday was Monday, which is always a slower day for us. And the reason being, guys, is because on the weekend, we have a lot of plays that, hit, they miss, whatever. And then on Monday, we kind of have to almost restart the week in a way because, again, a lot of those entries are happening on the weekends. And then we kind of have to just send out more entries for Monday. And I have a lot of entries that I did send out yesterday, but they haven't hit or missed yet, pretty much, right? We have plays happening today and the next, couple hours, tonight, whatever it is. I will say, though, we did hit another, I believe this was a 5X with Mbappe's discount, with Vitinha, and then with Ruben Diaz, okay? So absolutely amazing play. Again, right here, we took their unders, and as you guys saw in that game, Spain does win 1-0. I'm glad the game does not go into overtime because it definitely could have, and you'll see here that Portugal only possesses the ball 44% of the time. Spain possesses the ball 56% of the time, which is honestly about what I expected of this game. I did expect Spain to just win slightly. Again, they win by 1 goal and they win by about 6% possession in that game, which is nice. I will also say that I ended up taking the Spain guys to go over, again, because I thought Spain was going to win in possession. They end up only winning in possession by about 6%, like I said. But I did take both of these guys over together. And maybe if the game goes into overtime, this does hit. I believe Pedri does get taken out of the game anyway, though, I think at the 90th minute. I have no idea why they take players out at the 90th minute. It doesn't make sense. But anyway, here's a miss. Again, both of these guys go under together. And then again, here's a hit for a 5X. So overall, if you count this 5X and you count all the, the losses here or whatever, and again, this play literally just happened, you'll see that I actually filled it in myself because PrizePicks hasn't even filled this in yet. This one really should have hit. This one really should have been a setup for us. This EWI team, which is the team that this orange team was playing, completely threw the game. I mean, it's one of the worst throws I had ever seen in my life. Now, this is a pretty small stakes League of Legends game, so I don't know what happened, but I mean the EWI team was completely dominating, and I was watching this on my second monitor as I was setting up for this video, and I was like, all right, cool, we're gonna get a setup for the Colombia game and I'll be able to talk about it in the video. And then just the orange team just came back, and I guess credit to them, but the EWI team I really think just completely through the game like crazy. Now, I will say yesterday's pick did miss with Chris Richards and Alex Freeman. Belgium, weird game. Belgium obviously dominated. Belgium wins 4-1. I did take the USA players under. I honestly, I gotta say, I liked the call, right? USA, they had 57% possession in the game. And honestly, I thought Belgium was at least going to be 50-50 in this game, possession-wise. And really what happens in some of these games where a team dominates like Belgium did versus the US is that Belgium will sometimes, when they score, they will just They'll score 2 goals and they'll just park the bus in a way, right? And what that means is that they'll just end up playing defense, and they'll be okay playing defense and conceding a little bit of possession to the US, and they'll bring all their guys back for defense. Now, Belgium ends up scoring again. That third goal was absolutely insane. And then I didn't even watch the last goal, I'll be honest. I turned the game off. So, it kind of is what it is. USA does lose, which is unfortunate for us Americans, I guess. But, Belgium, I think they were the better team. They do only have 43% possession in the game. So both of these guys really should have went over. This Alex Freeman line was way too high at 59.5. I will say someone in the comments yesterday did pretty much call this exact scenario. So, credit to you, I guess, for calling that. But one thing I do want to talk about in that, again, I got to give credit to the person who commented, but I think a lot less about the players, about Chris Richards and Tim Ream and Alex Freeman and, Pulisic and all these guys, or on any team, right? John Smith and Jane Doe, all these just random players. And I think way more about the team. How is this team going to be? Are they going to have a lot of possession? Or are they not going to have a lot of possession, right? So it's a lot less about the individual player. And this is important when it gets to things like football, right? Because again, when we get into football season, a lot of what I do, I'll take unders on guys like Josh Allen, guys like Patrick Mahomes, guys like Lamar Jackson. And I'll get a lot of again, I'm going to talk about this a lot when we get into football season, which is a couple months away. But I get a lot of, not flack for it, but a lot of questioning about it. Why are we taking Josh Allen under? He's so good. He's the MVP. Why would we ever take Josh Allen under? Almost like Josh Allen just only ever goes over, right? Which would just be crazy. And the reason why is because teams like the Bills they will, if they're facing a team like the Panthers or the Jets or just one of these kind of like mid-tier to low-tier teams, they are a lot of times going to be blowing those teams out of the water by the third quarter, right? They might be up by 20, by 25, and Josh Allen isn't going to have to do much in the third or fourth quarter to win the game. He already threw for, let's say, 150 yards, and he's just going to kind of run the ball out. The Bills will just run the ball out and just kind of win the game. And that's a lot of how football games go when we get into football season, right? A lot of these NFL games, you're up by, 20 because you're the Ravens. You're up by 20 because you're the Bills. And Lamar and Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, they don't have to do much to beat some of these lesser teams. So that is a big reason why I'm going to be taking those guys under. And it's not about the player, right? Obviously, Josh Allen's amazing. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is amazing. Obviously, Lamar Jackson's amazing. But it's a lot more about Bills are just a better team, so they're not going to have to throw the ball as much going to the third and fourth quarter. Whereas a team like that's a lesser team that's losing the game, or if it's like Rams versus Bills or something, like a really, really high octane game, then that's a time where we might want to take Stafford over or Josh Allen over, because you're going to have just two great offenses, two great defenses clashing with each other, okay? So a little bit of a rant there, but again, it is what it is. Freeman misses also, which is, unfortunate, but Dodgers do get 8 runs against the Rockies. Again, sometimes, guys, you make calls. Freeman, he gets 3 fantasy score. I liked the call, right? I think it was a good call. Sometimes in the MLB, you're just not going to get there, and it is what it is, right? I think Dodgers putting up 8. I'm happy with it. Freeman really probably should have went over, but it is what it is. And I will say the last thing that I'll go over is right here with Pays. We took him under 20.5. I believe I sent this out for free to my free winnable, and this line at 20 was out for about an hour to an hour and a half, all right? So I know sometimes the plays bump quick, but this line was out for like an hour to hour and a half at 20, bumps down to 19, and it was at 19 for about 5 to 6 hours. And I even got some text from you guys, hey, it's at 19.5 now, do we still take it? And I said, yes, take it at 19.5, knowing that it'd probably bump lower, and it did. It bumps to 18.5 now. So we got something at 20, and now it's at 18.5, which is incredible value, and hopefully you guys can kind of understand the value in that. PrizePicks underdog, guys, we are, again, pretty much at all-time highs. We're like at all-time highs, pretty much at all-time highs. We're going to keep pressing to all-time highs throughout the year. 162 units so far in 2026 on PrizePicks and underdog. And what this means, guys, is if you're just a $10 bettor, you'd be up more than $1,600 on PrizePicks and underdog, and we are just at the middle of the year, okay? So again, my goal is to get this number to 500 by the time that the year finishes, which means if you're a $10 bettor, you'd be up $5,000 by the end of the year, which is amazing, right? And again, maybe some of you guys are $20, $25, $30 bettors. The reason why it's $500 is because once football season hits, we should be able to easily go up about 300 units when football season begins to when it ends, right? So again, this is from middle of August, I guess, when the preseason starts to like December or even a little bit into the playoffs, right? And I might give myself a little bit of leeway when we get to that, okay? But again, PrizePicks underdog, crushing it. We're up 162 units. I don't know. Is there another channel on YouTube that's up 162 units so far this year? I don't know. But you'll see the record as well, guys. You're going to see that we have like 1,000 losses pretty much, and we have 273 wins. And the reason being for this is because we play a lot of 9Xs, 10Xs, 6Xs, so we're not going to hit very many of them, right? So if you get into the VIP, I'll be very happy if you do. If you get into the VIP, get ready to lose quite a lot because, again, a lot of our entries are kind of home run type entries, okay? So let's go ahead and get into the first pick of the day. I don't want to talk too much in today's video, even though I kind of already have. We are going to take Jacob deGrom to go over 6.5 pitcher strikeouts. This is a discount on better, so we're going to take this. Guys, I've been vocal about better and sleeper being something that you can make $300, $400 a month on just taking the discounts every single day. So go ahead and get sleeper and better. You can just utilize these discounts every day. There's another 4 discounts on better today. There's like a discount for soccer, for UFC, for and then I think like WNBA and MLB, like literally a discount for every single play. And I think that like before even putting anything into PrizePicks or putting anything into some like, what's the play of the day or anything, you should be utilizing these discounts because you're not going to find a better pick. I personally can't give you a better pick than some of these discounts, right? I think there's like Conor McGregor discount on better right now that he needs like 1 significant strike. So he literally needs to go out there, punch the guy 1 time, and you're going to hit the entry, right? So if you don't take that, then I don't know what to tell you because there's no entry that I can give you that's better than Conor McGregor literally punching 1 time in a game, in a match, okay? Faker, we're going to take him over 10.5 kills. Really not much to say here. He is playing G2. They should probably win this game 2-1. And if you guys know how I think about League of Legends, I think about it in terms of wins, right? So if I think about soccer in terms of possession, I think about League of Legends in terms of wins. The more wins you have, the more kills you're going to have. The less wins you have, the less kills you're going to have. T1, one of the best teams in the world. Faker is like the Michael Jordan of League of Legends. If you look up who's the all-time GOAT of League of Legends, it's Faker. He's a little bit older now. He's a little bit more, not as in his prime, I guess you could say, but he's still absolutely amazing. And I think he even won the main tournament even like a year or two ago. Okay, so Faker over, gonna take that. And then let's get into the play of the day on PrizePicks. All right, so first pick is gonna be James Woods, and we're gonna take him over at 6.5 hitter fantasy score, guys. Absolutely amazing play right here. We actually took him, I think, a couple days ago, maybe when he was playing Boston or maybe when he was playing Pitt, and he did go ahead and hit for us very easily. Like, he literally hit for us in the first inning or the first 2 innings, and you'll see he's been on an incredible hot streak. Literally the only game that he's gone under was a couple days ago here where he gets 6, so he literally misses by 0.5, and they lost to Pitt here. Lost to the Pirates. I always call them Pitt for some reason. I guess they are Pitt, but anyway, guys, this is the play of the day. Obviously, I mean, there's not really much to say. I do also like that he normally gets about 5 plate appearances on average. Normally, these guys are only getting 4, right? So being able to get that extra plate appearance is really big. You're going to have more of a chance to get an extra hit there. And, there's nothing really else to say. He's crushing it. He's on a super hot streak. The Nationals are also on a pretty good hot streak. It looks like they actually struggled against the Pirates a little bit. I don't really follow baseball all that much, guys, but you have to look for things that are streaky. And you have to look for players and teams that are, like I said, on a hot streak right now, because these players, they feed off of each other. And if one player gets a hit, then you can go ahead and bring them home, right, with another player getting a hit. And also these players, if they can see the ball correctly, if they can see the ball well over the course of a couple of weeks, those are the type of players that you're going to want to be betting on, rather than someone who's just like going out there and getting struck out pretty much every single time. All right, so hitter fantasy score, I believe, is one of the easiest ways to find really good lines. And I have a couple videos that go over this every day, but I have a couple videos of why I think it is, and it's because you can find like Green Goblin type prices for players when you're not actually taking a Green Goblin line, right? So we're not getting any payout shift for this whatsoever. Well, we are because it's correlated, but no like Green Goblin payout. Now, second part of this is going to be in this Morocco versus France game. Now, this is happening on Thursday. There's no game tomorrow on Wednesday, so we're probably going to have to be taking some guys in the future now, because we're going to start the quarterfinals here in the next couple of days. And again, the games are kind of dwindling down a little bit. They're going to be bigger games, more kind of higher stakes games between some of the best teams in the world, but there's not going to be as many games, right? So it's kind of a trade-off. Now, I will say, in full transparency, I did actually take these Morocco players, or some of these Morocco players, as overs in that Mbappe discount, and I sent that out to my VIP. And it was Hakimi, and it was this goalkeeper here. And one of the main reasons with the goalkeeper is that I think when they're facing a better team, so they're facing France, if you think about all these French players right here in these like red circles, they're going to be constantly shooting the ball because they're the better team, like Mbappe and Dembele, and they're probably going to miss and they're going to hit goal kicks, or they're going to miss and Bono is going to save the ball. And then when he saves the ball or has a goal kick, what's he going to do? He's going to pass, right? So a lot of times you're going to see these keepers pass these like long kicks out to these players, or like roll the ball out to these players. And again, these are all passes for goalkeepers. So generally, if you're the worst team, which again, Morocco's looked very good, but you're worse than France because France is the best team right now. If you're the worst team, the goalkeeper is likely to go over. So I really like Bono to go over his pass attempts. And then I also paired up with Hakimi because Hakimi is just kind of on a different level. He's just by far and away the best player. But with all of that being said, we are going to take these two players and we're going to take them under. And again, how you need to think about this is it's sometimes about the player, sometimes about the position, but I would say 90 to 95% of it is about the matchup and the teams and how I think this game is going to go possession-wise. Now, Morocco, I do think this is going to be actually close to 50-50. But if you look at some of these games where Morocco has had 50-50 possession, these guys have actually gone under a lot of times. And even in the game where they went to overtime, I believe against, who did they go to overtime against? I think Switzerland. They went to overtime with some team, and they had about they had an extra like 30 minutes in that game, and this Diop guy barely goes over even in that extra 30 minutes of that game here. But we do have Diop right here, and then we do have I'm sorry if I butcher his name, but he is Boo Adadi, I think is how you say his name. I'm just going to call him Addy. And we have both of these guys right here. And again, if they do not have much possession in the game, they're facing France. France, you know, they're a decent possession team. They have like the best players in the world on their team. But are they like a Spain? No. But at the end of the day, I do think these lines are too high for these guys. And if they don't have as much possession in the game, let's say they only have 40 to 45% possession in the game, then the unders should hit for them. Now, if they have 55, 60, 62% possession in the game, then these guys will probably go over in this game. Also, if they go to overtime, they might go over in this game. But I do think France wins this game outright, probably about 2-0, maybe 2-1, and I do think these guys unders are the move here. Okay, so again, this is correlation. If this is the first time you hearing this, hopefully a light bulb has went off in your head where you're like, man, I've never thought to bet like this, where I can bet on two players, and if one thing happens, and the one thing that we're betting on is Morocco to not have much possession, if that happens, then both of these guys should go under together. Okay, so that is correlation. It's the same thing we do in esports, and it's the same thing we do in the NFL. For example, you could take a player like Patrick Mahomes to go over. You could take a player like Travis Kelce to go over. If Mahomes has 400 yards, who do you think is going to have a lot of yards also? Probably Travis Kelce, okay? So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys do want to get into the VIP, you can go ahead and sign up for apps like Kalshi. You can sign up for apps like Underdog Fantasy, for Better, for Sleeper. Here's Sleeper right here, for apps like ONYX Odds as well. And I believe they are giving away $200 to anyone who signs up and puts in $10 right here on ONYX for the whole World Cup. So that is absolutely insane. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you in tomorrow's video.